We are continuing with the same piece in Rav Kook's introduction, but this is a new lecture. Hakdusha שבאהבת איש ואישה, the sanctity and the love of man and woman. First part, zachu or lo zachu. Zachu in Hebrew can mean two things. It can mean like a zechus, a merit, or it can be like to win something, like to win in the lottery. All right? Previously, we've studied at length the danger that is hidden in the feelings of love, right? There is healthy love and there's unhealthy love, right? Healthy love can bring contentment to all of mankind, love of all of mankind, and so on, right? But on the reverse, when someone is simply self-centered love of self alone, right? Not love of self because of love of God and all of God's creations, right? It can turn the elevated love into a very lowly love, right? When we remember in the beginning of this paragraph, Rav Kook talked about the ideas of that an artist has to just not allow to be brought out his lower destructive, impure inclinations. Now, Chaim Potok, very well-known Jewish author, grew up in a Hasidic family, became a conservative rabbi. Every single one of his books, in one way or another, justifies his decision why he could not live within the Orthodox world. And in the gift of Asher Lev, he has the following. Artists are not kind. Artists are selfish and calculated. If you only had a talent for drawing, I would have ended quickly, but you possess the capacity for rage. I saw those demons. They were the source of your art. I saw that right away during our first weeks together. The idea here that he's saying is that art only comes out of what is negative. That is the exact opposite of the idea that Rav Kook was putting forward. These are the two sides of the coin. Through the most natural love, the earliest love is love of man for a woman, right? It is even comes before the love of parents to children, right? The first love that is found in humanity is by Adam and Chava before they had children. And we read in Parshas Berashit, Zachar u'Nekeva baram, male and female he created them, v'yivarech osam, and he blessed them, v'yikra es shamam Adam, and he called their name Adam. Male and female together make one complete Adam, right? Each one of them is half of a whole. The connection between them creates a new unified completeness. The Maharal writes this in two places. The first in his commentary on Chumash. Ish nosei isha, a man marries a woman. Kol echad naqra מתחילה חצי adam. Initially, both of them are called half a man. Ki zachar below nקיבה, palag gufat micri, because a male without a female is called half of a body. ועתה guf shalem, and now it's a whole body, בריה חדשה, a new creation. In his חידושי Agadot on Sota, the Maharal writes, Ish ואישה, man and woman, שכל אחד מהם חלק האדם, each one of them is part of a man. ושניהם ביחד הם אדם שלם, and both of them together create a whole man. Remember, Adam is a strange word in Hebrew because most words have a masculine, feminine, singular, and plural. And with Adam, there's only one word. It doesn't matter whether you're referring to man, woman, men, women, men and women together. It's all Adam. So the minimum, so to speak, of Adam is the couple, the man and woman together. In order to bring the man and woman together into a complete, true whole, they have to build their house based upon kedusha and Torah, sanctity and holiness. Because they are clinging to these elevated values, they can complete their creation, their one house, with a healthy life and contentment, rejoicing, happiness. But if the love between them is on a lower level, it's not based upon shared true values, but it's based upon passion, self-fulfillment, fulfilling one's own passion. At that point, the relationship in the end turns to one of hatred and destruction. God forbid. Chas v'shalom. The words of Rabbi Akiva and Sotah are very, very well known and very famous. Ish v'isha, a man and a woman, zachu shkina biניהן. If they have the merit, the Shekhinah dwells among them. Lo zachu eish ochaltam. If they don't merit, fire consumes them. This is based on the fact that the two-letter name of God is spelled with a yud and a hey, and the yud is found in ish, and the hey is found in isha, right? And when the two of them merit to join together through kedusha and Torah and a shared value of God, then the dominant force here is the godly, the yud and the hey. However, if they do not, God forbid, merit, zachu, then God removes himself. It's not so much we talk about God removing himself. It's not that God removes himself. He was never invited in. He was never there to begin with, right? All that is left of both ish, if you take away the yud from ish, all that's left is eish, fire. And if you take away the hey from isha, all that's left is eish, fire, right? You have the fire of fighting. You have the fire of chaos. Shem Hashem is what guards shalom bayis, between man and the woman. And it makes for their love and companionship between them. When their relationship is based upon the higher values of the Torah and builds with kedusha, sanctity, Torah, purity, then this is the Shekhinah's, the divine presence, natural dwelling place. The Shem Hashem Nekra Alehem, and the name of God is called upon them. But if the house, their household has not built its foundation upon Torah Hashem, but their own personal desires and ideas of fulfillment, right? There is no strong spiritual construct here, and it is very likely to be destroyed and broken down and consumed with fire. Zachu and lo zachu do not refer to winning a lottery, right? It refers to having the merit, having the ability, having the desire, having the potentials and the realization of those potentials to build something in sanctity and purity, right? And then it's Shechina biניהן. The divine presence is between them, right? The love and affection and caring is there. The second part of this Shir is called Isha Mala Ve'isha Mata, the man above and the man below. The Torah, when it's talking about the Sota, the woman suspected of adultery, the Gemara learns, She'ein Adam over Avera, Elim kan nichnas bo ruach shtus. A person does not, the woman does not, or a man does not commit adultery unless a spirit of shtus, silliness, enters him. Shanamar, as it says, Ish ki tistei ishto. Each man that suspects his wife. Now, tistei can be spelled either with a samech or with a sin, to be suspect. But it's spelled with a sin. And tistei here is the same letters as shtus, as silliness, frivolity, right? In order to prevent the silliness and frivolity, right, from destroying all that is good and beautiful, one has to fill the house with kedusha and tara, holiness and purity. And these things naturally flow out of a connection to God and a desire to do God's Torah and mitzvahs. In the Midrash Tanchuma, there is a drasha played on the word, the fact that the word ish, man, occurs twice in the pasuk. The Midrash says, ish ki tistei ishto, man who suspects his wife. Lelamdecha, this comes to teach, the Midrash Tanchuma says, shemo elet koferet b'shnayim, that the woman that does this is denying two things. Be'ish shel mala, with the man at Gov, meaning God, ube'ish shel mata, and the man below, her husband. Be'ish miras emunim labala, when she's not faithful to her husband, it's not only against her husband that she's rebelling, she's also rebelling against God, against the Shekhinah. There is a connection between the ish shel mala and ish shel mata. It's a two-way street. You cannot rebel against one without rebelling against the other. Now, it has to be understood that to keep a house in tahara and kedusha, it's not only dependent upon the woman. Both parties, both the man and the woman, have to work for the kedusha of the household in order to establish its holy nature. Both of them have a prohibition of trespass against God in any way at all. And there's a hint to this that Rabbi Yochanan gives in the Gemara in Brachos. There's a very famous drasha that's not Rabbi Yochanan, it's Rebbe's, that asks why Parsha of Sota is connected to the Parsha of Nazir. Rabbi Yochanan looks the other way, and he says, Lama nismacha parsha sota leparshas trumas u'maisers. Why is the parsha of Sota connected to the parsha of trumas u'maisers? Lomar lecha. This is to tell you, kol sheyesh lo trumos u'maisers. Anyone that has trumas u'maisers, ve'eno nos no l'kohen, and he doesn't give them to the kohanim and the leviim and the anim. Sof nitzarech l'kohen al yedei ishto. In the end, he'll have to go to a kohen because his wife will be suspected of adultery, and he'll have to go to the temple with his wife, right? Meaning, the man is causing his wife to flee and run away from him. The failure to separate Trumas and Meisers is a failure to recognize that I am not alone in this world. The failure to give away the Trumas and Meisers, to give Meiser Ksafim properly. is someone that's only thinking about themselves and what I want, what I need. When someone gives Trumas Maisus properly, their primary concern is other people, not themselves. And if their primary concern is other people, not themselves, then it's also true that his wife will feel this way, and their primary concerns will be toward each other, not whatever crazy, they won't have crazy ideas and thoughts coming into their minds in this way that cause them to separate. So the ultimate expression of the divine presence in this world is the love of man to his wife and a woman to her husband.